today I'm here with G. Smith and LeRoy Bell. GE is known for his years of touring with Hall & Oates and fronting the SNL band for 10 years. LeRoy, you know, from the debut season of X Factor and also his soulful original music. And he just played all of his music on the BMG NYC Instagram account. So how are you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Great.
You guys joined forces for this new album.
Yes.
And you really created something very rustic, like bluesy rock. And I feel like you really invite the listener on a lyrical journey. It's really, the lyricism of the album is fantastic. Today, we really want to get to know your new album. Can you explain how your collaboration came to life?
I had been looking for a singer for a long time, for like 30 years. It's the hardest thing to find. Good drummers are hard to find, but good singers are impossible. So Taylor was a fan of LeRoy's stuff, had been listening to him, and she played me some of his songs, and she said, "This guy's voice, this would work with the way you play." And I went, "Yeah." So we invited him to come, and him and Terry, the bass player, LeRoy's friend, stayed at the house, and we just got along right away. It was just real easy, you know, musically and personally too. It was just simple.
Well, now we're gonna play a round of BMG album trivia. It's gonna be easy, so don't worry about it. And here's how it works. I basically looked very closely and listened very intently to all the music on the new record, and especially the lyrics. And I'm gonna give you 3 contextual hints per song, and you have to guess what song of yours I am talking about. And if you guess
it would
right,
be really pitiful if we didn't know this. Quote one of the lyrics and we go, huh?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So,
this is great.
It was a good test. So, and then I'll ask you a question that relates to that song if you make the right guess, which I'm sure you will. Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first song gives politics really an animalistic character, and I thought it was really genius when I listened to it. And it's very metaphorical, though. It talks about taking shelter, it kind of talks about being hunted. And in the last 2 lines, it mentions red and blue, the colors red and blue.
Cover.
Yeah.
The song Take Cover.
Take Cover. Yes, that's it.
Very good.
Eagle is a mighty bird, scans the turning earth, circles round the passive deer, preying on their birth.
I want to give a huge shout out to Taylor for
first
of bringing you guys together, writing that song.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought this song was, I loved how it kind of talks about, you know, current issues in our world, but in a very metaphorical way. And it makes the listener really think for themselves, which I think is super important. Yes. So my question for you two is music for you guys a tool of kind of rebellion, education, and betterment of our society?
Definitely. I think music is always, in not just music, in art in general, is always a teacher and a lot of times ahead of its time, and one of the few avenues for people to express themselves in times like these and in times in general throughout history.
What about you, G?
I think that inevitably any writer will speak to the time that they're living in. Woman writes a book. Now, she might write a book that's about history, you know, something from way back, but elements of what's going on in the world are going to sneak in there. You said that, like, Take Cover in a metaphorical way talked about things. I think that when Taylor wrote that, she was inspired by the way that LeRoy writes, where you don't hit the person in the face with the information, you know. You let them think about it a little. And if it sneaks up on them and they get it, well, that's a good thing.
Exactly. I feel like that's even more powerful because you're not just feeding them something that
Right.
you're thinking, but you'd rather make them think for themselves, which I think that is a kind of a theme throughout your whole album. And we're going to definitely talk about that a little more. So song number 2, this song talks about second chances. And it takes the listener on this like bittersweet journey of love and regret. And it takes the listener also on a walk through the jungle.
You know.
Yes, I know that one is.
And the title is
You and Me.
Yeah. Yo, I like that.
That's
we need a
sound
little
of a
bit of
correct
music
answer.
here.
Yeah.
I walk alone in the jungle.
So my question to that is, I feel like, love and heartbreak and happiness and sadness, all of these emotions are part of life, and they're all, they all have a reason to exist and be there. But which of these emotions inspires you the most to make music and to write songs?
It's obviously easier to write love songs when you're in love or you're breaking up.
Yeah.
Because they just come out because you just, you're in that. But I think you can relate to that always because we've all been through that. And all you have to do is think about something that relates to that.
I'll tell you something about that song, You and Me. LeRoy was here at the house. We were sitting over in the living room and we had our guitars, and he said, I want to write a song that goes, he said, just that bop, bop, bop. And we went, okay. And we started talking about different things, and we kind of came up with at least a feel. And he always has lots of ideas, so he went away and then came back with lyrics and a melody.
Right, you're right. Yeah, I remember saying that because I always wanted to talk with that beat. Yes, that beat. Yeah, sometimes it'll be anything like that, and then you don't really know where that's going to go.
Okay, let's move on to song number 3. So this song actually talks about unlocking ideas. The lyrics for me kind of install this kind of nostalgia by comparing old times to newer times. And it gives kind of a saddening prognosis for the state of the arts.
That's art sick.
Yep.
I wrote that one.
Art sick, it won't get better. You can hang it on the wall, or you can put it in a plain and flat all around the world. Yeah, all around the world.
About some years ago, when I was living in what I call the Middle East in New York City, like Lafayette Street area, it's not west, it's not east, it's not the Lower East Side, but it's headed there. Anyway, Jean-Michel Basquiat, the artist, was around, and I didn't know him well or anything, but I knew him a little bit, and we would talk now and again on the street or something. And I got that idea in my head from a conversation that we had. Art's sick, it won't get better. And I carried that line around with me forever. And then just a few months ago, when I was finishing up the kind of technical housework on the record, I was in the studio, and I thought about that line, and the whole song just came and hit me in the head. And I'd never been able to write the song for all those years. Wow. I just had that idea. And it just came into my head. And I said to Larry Schmid, who recorded most of the record, we were at his place, at his studio. And I said, man, turn it on. And I started just putting it down. And in 2 hours, it was pretty much done.
Wow, that's a great story. That's really cool that you were actually talking to Basquiat. There's a huge mural of him close to where I live, actually.
Yeah.
My question to that was also that I feel like one of the lines goes, we need an artist to emerge with new ideas to unlock and take us all around the world. And I do believe that music really has the power to take us to places, right? Is there any new artist that has emerged that has been able to take you to those places?
I think Billie Eilish, certainly. Phoebe Bridges, I've been listening to. She's great.
Okay.
I've been listening to her a lot.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna
How
check.
about you, LeRoy?
I haven't checked her out. I'm trying to think of a new artist. I don't know that many new artists. I was listening to another artist, but now her name escapes me, but she's been around a while. She had a group. She's a heavyset Black woman, and she just released an album on her own.
Brittany from the Alabama Shakes.
Yes.
Brittany Howard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brittany Howard. She's ridiculously great.
I know, and I just love her sound. But
She has a solo album out now.
Yeah, solo album, and just the whole thing that she's doing there is just fantastic.
She's great. She sings great. She plays great guitar, and I like. I just like her attitude. You know, you can hear it in the music.
Really cool.
She's really good.
Yeah.
So the next song mentions mountains, rivers, and the West in the lyrics. It talks about lies. It talks about kind of making not progress but digressing, and the lyrics make people really aware of the current situation of the country that all of three of us are living in right now.
America.
Yeah. So I absolutely love that song.
In the blink of an eye, and the mountain of lies, we were sold down the river, your land and mine. Disillusion, mass confusion, a constitution that trying to burn it down. Are we living or being driven like sheep to slaughter? I really wanna know.
I think in the lyrics you asked a question. You said, are we living or are we driven like sheep? And I think you guys, by making music, you're actually living and you're driving, you know, you're not being driven. So let's think big and dream big and go on this little thought experiment. If it was 2030 right now, how has your music influenced our society? Your new album, your guys' new album?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would hope always, you know, the main thing that I always hope about music is that somebody enjoys it. Whether they get enlightenment from it or not is whether they enjoy it. If they enjoy the guitar, if they enjoy the voice, if they enjoy the beat, if they enjoy the music, if it makes them feel happy or sad, or makes them think about something, or they can relate to it in any way, shape, or form, then I feel like I've succeeded, you know, in any way they can relate to it. And people relate to things differently.
Very true, yeah, very true. What about you, G?
Well, you know, if it would just make me real happy if anybody was listening to this music in 2030.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to a lot of really old music. Yesterday, I got on to a lot of stuff from the 1920s and stuff. I was listening to Louis Armstrong and Sidney Bechet and people like that, early jazz players. And yeah, if they're still listening in 2030, great.
Then that's the goal too. Yeah, I agree.
There's so much music now. There's so much stuff that comes out. You know, it used to be when I was a kid, a teenager, if something came out and it was really good, you'd at least hear it. You'd somehow hear it. If it was really, really good, it would kind of almost always at least bubble up to the surface a little bit. Now, I know that there's lots of great stuff coming out that we never get to hear because there's just so much.
Just because there's so much.
Yeah, there's so many ways of distribution now. You can basically just upload all your things on SoundCloud, you know,
right.
Hope that people are hearing it. But I do think that both of you guys have great points. That first of all, our world and the music business also has changed so much, you know, so as a goal, just wanting people to listen. And then what you said, I think that LeRoy, art is so you know, like it's interpretation, and I may interpret some of these songs very differently than they were intended to be, you know. So whatever I take,
I hope so.
I think is good.
That's good if you do, if you interpret it differently, if you find a different meaning than might have been specifically written into it. That speaks to maybe the song having some legs and being worth.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the reason why. I mean, a part of the reason why I write lyrics the way I do is because I want to leave a little bit of your own thought processes to process that in a way that it can relate to you. Because if I just make it about me or the way I think exactly, then how is anybody else going to relate to it? They go, well, that's the way he thinks or whatever. But you know what I mean? You can visualize your life in it. You
leave it up to my imagination and kind of me being able to put my experience to that as well. So I think that's really important, and I love that. Okay, so the next song talks about another really important topic, which is loss. And I loved how the guitar and the melody in it kind of emphasize this bittersweet feeling of having loved and then having lost. And you mentioned the word eyes a lot in the lyrics.
When I close my eyes.
Yay!
Lying awake, night after night, a bittersweet comfort when I turn out the lights. When I close my eyes, I see you.
I love that song.
It is. It's a really good song. So I wonder, when you guys were working on the album and writing songs, do the lyrics come first, or does the melody come first, or how is that process for you been?
Well, for me, it's usually the melody and sometimes a lyric. Like, I don't write the whole lyric out. I might just be humming along and getting the music kind of together, and I might come up with a line like, when I close my eyes, you know, I might just come up with that line, and then I'll take it from there.
Yeah. What about you, G? Because you said earlier you had this artistic, this lyric in your mind. You, does it usually start with a lyric, or does it start with a melody, or is
an idea? More like LeRoy was saying, like it's an idea, a feeling that I would like to get, or a story. I like to write narrative songs. I like to write stories, you know. You know, that's what I'll tell you something funny though about LeRoy. As we'd be recording this stuff, he'd be writing lyrics and then he'd sing it. And I go, oh, that's great, you know, and I'd be working, and he'd go, no, here, I changed the lyrics, let me sing. And he'd kept changing he'd change them this afternoon. If we go back in the studio, he'd say, no, I got a better line now. So he's always, you know, thinking about it and working on the stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the next song personifies nature. It talks about freedom. It talks about equality and kind of the cycle of birth and death. And the lyrics really raise awareness of how our human behavior affects our planet and what we're doing with our planet. Do you know which song I'm talking about?
Yeah. Under These Skies.
Yep.
Yes.
Yay!
Correct.
Yes.
We need that sound effect every time.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
That's the correct answer song.
Yeah.
While we are human, can you think of any reason why we didn't change direction yesterday?
Staying with the topic of freedom for a second, because there is, freedom is mentioned in the lyrics of that song. When do both of you feel most free?
I think I feel, if I'm relating free, I'm relating to feeling good about where I'm at. And I guess that I would have to say when I'm writing or when I'm playing.
Yeah.
When I'm deep into my music, whether we're on stage playing or if I'm just writing and I'm just lost in it, that's just kind of free to me. But Other than that, yeah, I mean, I basically feel free, but I think that's probably the closest I come to like Nirvana or something, you know. It's just like just into it to where I don't realize time is going by. There's nothing else happening, and I'm just kind of there.
Yeah, just in the moment.
Yeah.
I think music can actually really bring you to the moment. So I love that. Okay, so the last song that I want to talk about today is it actually talks about not needing much. It mentions a dirty little secret, and the word feel is used in the title and also throughout the song pretty frequently.
How does it feel?
How does it feel? Yeah.
I got this one good life. When I work, yeah, my baby don't cry. Don't need much to get by. Somebody like me don't need a whole lot.
So when we're staying with the topic of not needing much and being content, I think that my last question for this game is, what are you guys grateful for today?
I'm grateful just to be alive and healthy and have my family be alive and healthy and still be able to create music, you know?
Yeah.
What else is there? You know?
Very true. What about you, G?
Well, I have to certainly second all those. You know, I'm grateful that I'm still able to play. I'm home, but I got all my guitars and stuff, you know. Taylor, my wife, and Josie, our daughter, are healthy. You know, we didn't get sick. And Josie has written 2 books in the last 6 months. She's just finishing one up now,
Right.
and she's 18. You know, so I'm very grateful that she's doing really well.
That sounds like a lot of reason to be grateful for. I'm grateful that you guys jumped on this interview with me today. And I want to know what we can expect. I mean, right now, I think no one knows how the future is going to look like. But we're knowing that this album is going to come out. What else do you guys have in plan when like the world opens up again?
Well, we're going to go play gigs. We're gonna get out and get in front of people as much as we can. I think that the small places actually will open up first, the ones that can still run. I think it's gonna be a while before you're gonna be able to go to a festival.
I think so too. And it has a lot of, I think it really taps into so many issues and topics that are very important right now. But you know, it does it in a very poetic and metaphorical way. And I think that everyone should listen to it. And until we can see you live, everyone follow G and LeRoy on Instagram and see what they're up to. And then I hope that we can see you live soon and listen to your album all together somewhere.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sunshine in my eyes, birds sing lullabies. I can hear babies cry. Mama's hands are getting tired. No progress over here.